My guest at this time is veteran WWE referee, friend of the show, Jimmy Korderas. Jimmy, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Thank you for having me back, man. I have a blast here, man. I love it, Nick.
Yeah, well, it's I obviously always love to pick your brain, Jimmy, and we'll start real quickly here. There's a lot to get to, but I had one of our loyal Wrestling Inc. Daily listeners DM me immediately. It was from Dina Garofalo. Immediately questions about the steps in the Charlotte Rhea Ripley match that led to the finish with the figure eight. I know we've kind of been down this rabbit hole before, but explain how Charlotte was allowed to use those steps to set up that figure eight and to finish that match.
Okay, now, if I remember it correctly, because sometimes, like I said, too many ref bumps over the years, what happened was she slammed her head first into the post, right? And Rhea's leg ended up between the steps and the ring post.
Right.
Now, Charlotte did not pick up the steps and use them as a weapon that way. Her leg was already there. All she did was kick the steps. That's like throwing somebody into the table. The table is there.
Okay.
When Charlotte got disqualified a couple of weeks ago for picking up the lid of the table, or was it Randy Orton? I can't remember who it was. Picked up the lid of the table, like the hood, and used it as a weapon.
Right.
Okay, that's a DQ. But if you're slamming somebody into something that's considered part of the ring, then it's okay. So she didn't actually, use the steps in a physical manner. She used them it's like slamming someone into the steps, same sort of thing.
I think it was at the last pay-per-view that happened where Rhea hit Charlotte with the table, and that's how they're.
That's it.
And what's so funny to me is until we were having this conversation, I hadn't realized the book in there of Rhea screwed up, used the thing incorrectly. Charlotte's smart enough here to use the ring correctly to get the finish. A little thing. I think they probably did that on purpose, if I was guessing.
Well, if they didn't, then it worked out perfectly.
Okay. Yeah. Happy coincidence. All right.
Yes, exactly.
Big news. John Cena's back. How did you think the finish? I mean, you talk about shenanigans, right? That main event was old school Monday Night Raw. Everybody was involved in this thing. How do you think it all played out? How do you think the Cena return came about? Everything like that.
First of all, I enjoyed the match. I thought it was really good storytelling. Two guys that showed great emotion throughout the match. A different style from what we're used to today. It didn't go 100 miles an hour from start to finish. They took their time. They told a story. And yes, we got a little bit of interference with the Usos coming in, and then Ray and Dominic coming in, handling that. Obviously, Seth coming in and being a factor into the finish is telling me that's leading to probably an Edge Seth Rollins match at SummerSlam, and I don't have a problem with that because I like the fact that Roman left this still as champion. As much as I like Edge, and he's a good friend of mine, and sorry, buddy, but the story going forward, it's all about Roman Reigns right now because he is hitting it out of the park. It's incredible what he has turned this character into, and wherever this leads, whether it is John Cena. And did you hear that enormous eruption when his music hit?
Dude, and like the thing is, I don't know if you watched, they have a post show video they released on social media where it's John talking to the crowd for like 2 minutes. And it's amazing because he comments on how surreal it is. He came back and everybody's cheering him. He's like, I'm so used to coming back and getting booed. And he points out this fan who has a sign that said, if Cena wins, we cheer. And he's like, am I in Bizarro world right now? What is happening right now? And I think the only way you get that guaranteed John Cena reaction right now is the people really do seem to be reacting to Roman Reigns the way WWE wants them to react. You agree with that?
Yeah, it's amazing. And that's what's been missing for these last 18 months or so is that live reaction from the crowd, because that's what this business has been predicated on since day one. And you saw that the talent themselves were reacting to the reaction that the crowd was providing. You know what I mean? And as far as Cena getting cheered, pardon my bad karaoke, but don't know what you've got till it's gone. You know what I mean? Everybody misses this guy. And it just goes to show you what a huge superstar he was back in the day, despite the fact that whatever people were saying, oh, he's being shoved down our throats and blah, blah, blah. But man, it was cool to see him back. Not thrilled about the Oakland A's colors, but that's just me being the Blue Jay guy.
Got it. Oh, hey, what was it like for you to work with John Cena? What's your personal experience? Any fun stories working with John while he's the top?
Yeah, it was John was, people don't realize the work ethic behind this guy and how much he actually truly loved what he was doing. But we had a good relationship. We had a friendly relationship. That the whole rap thing, that the rap character evolved from the fact that he could rap.
Right.
That's where it came from, because he truly could rap. And, we'd be on these buses overseas and he'd be rapping along and making up stuff like on the fly. And I'd be sitting there listening and enjoying this stuff. And every once in a while, throw one out there, a bad one. But, hey, but then I remember one time on the bus, I think it was Johnny Stamboli, of all people, wanted to challenge John to a rap battle, which didn't go very well for Johnny the Bull. Let's put it that way. Cena ate him alive, and it was hilariously funny.
Wow. Of all the people to step up to John Cena and his rapping, I would not have expected Johnny the Bull.
No, nobody did. And then, I guess Johnny thinking, New York kid, I'll show this guy, and from West Newbury, Massachusetts, wherever that is, right? And then he was handed his lunch. Let's put it that way.
Well, the other title defense last night was Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. And I don't know that I've seen a more dominant performance from a champion, especially in the past couple of years. What did you think of the way Lashley just manhandled Kofi Kingston last night?
Surprised by it. I didn't see that coming. I thought Kofi would get at least a little more offense in, but I understand why this was done. They wanted to create a monster, and they did. And unfortunately for Kofi, he was the fodder, for lack of a better term, for Bobby Lashley. But at the same time, Kofi is a guy, the smart thing here, Kofi is the guy that in this situation still cannot be hurt because people love Kofi.
Right.
And regardless of how badly he got beat up at the pay-per-view, people are still going to be behind Kofi. He gained some sympathy from this. But at the same time, now we've got a no BS Bobby Lashley. It looks like a monster, looks unbeatable at the moment. And now we go back to the Money in the Bank winner. Am I foreshadowing a little bit here?
Whatever you want to say here, yeah. Whatever.
Here's what I was thinking when I saw Big E. Again, talk about a big pop. You saw that people love the fact that Big E, winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, and the winner of the Money in the Bank briefcase is not necessarily handcuffed to the brand they're on.
Right.
So a lot of people were assuming, is he going to try and cash in against Roman? No. What if he goes after Bobby Lashley, calls his shot because he is the baby face, doesn't do it on a surprise and come out of nowhere kind of thing, calls his shot, and he says, not only am I going to take your title, but I'm going to make you pay for what you did to my brother Kofi.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's a wonderful path. There's multiple paths here for Bobby Lashley at the moment, right? Like John Cena has, in another post-show video last night, they were really getting the money's worth out of John Cena last night.
Yeah.
A little 30-second promo. He confirmed he's going to be on Raw tonight. And they announced it. And so I'm very kind of intrigued to see what you do with John Cena on Raw. They teased Roman, but Bobby Lashley, I'm sure, is not going to want to share that space with John Cena come Monday night, right?
No, I hear that. And that's the beauty of it. John Cena can go out tonight and yes, he could issue a challenge to either or, but maybe he could just leave it open. He says, yes, last night I confronted the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Maybe he needs to be on the watch out. But you too, Bobby Lashley, you're not off my radar either one of you, because I don't belong to a brand. John Cena is Universal, and I can go wherever I like because I'm not signed to a brand. So both champions are on notice right now. I will let my intentions be known soon. Leave them hanging. Don't give it away right away. I don't know.
Well, but the other thing is Lashley then tweets after the show last night. What is it? Untouchable. Who's next? Right. And the big rumor at the moment is Goldberg may be coming back to take on Lashley. Lashley, Big E, John Cena. I did not think that there would be this. Call me crazy, but a year ago, I would not have thought to myself, Lashley is going to be the belle of the ball for all these big matches come as early as tonight, Jimmy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know. I hear the Goldberg and call me crazy here because obviously, he would have to agree to this. But can you imagine Goldberg having a match against Bobby Lashley and it turning out the same way as it did with Kofi? Would that not turn Bobby into like one of the most hated individuals? And not only that, he took out Goldberg like that, setting him up as the big monster for possibly another monster returning.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're teasing Lesnar, and I'm all about it. Like, I would love to see Lesnar, Lashley. I just don't know why, for whatever reason, it's never happened. Like, both sides have kind of, or not really Brock. I don't think we've ever heard from Brock, but definitely MVP and Lashley. Just like, yeah, Brock just never been interested in this fight for whatever reason.
Yeah, I wish I had an answer for you. I don't understand it either. I think to me that's money.
Yeah.
If not in ticket sales, at least at the monitor in the back, that would be money.
It'd be very compelling, right? I agree with you. So we talked about Cena, but Goldberg here, another big name looks to be coming back. Like, what was it like to work with Goldberg? Any stories of working with him when you were at WWE?
No, not very much, because we were when he was in WWE, we were on separate brands, so I didn't get to see him very often. My biggest interaction with him was actually at the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2015 when I was there with him, and he was like super friendly, like we'd been friends for ages. You know what I mean? Not that we weren't friendly with each other, but at the same time, it was like, hey, how's it going? Hey, how you doing? And then there it was like, hey, buddy, how are you? And I'm like, oh, cool. Like Bill remembers me, you know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see what kind of reaction he gets from the fans, because the fans seem a little wily at the moment. Charlotte got, first of all, there was like a lot of Peacock issues. I'm taking it because you were in Canada, you had the network, you didn't deal with the same issues, right?
Yeah, I feel bad. I don't want to rub it in, but we had no issues up here.
Oh man. Yeah, it was toxic down here. It became really bad on Twitter for the company at Peacock.
People were asking me like, what do I do? I don't know. I don't have Peacock. Sorry, I can't help you here. I'm not cable guy.
But we're all very jealous. But they flashed to the blackout when Charlotte like flipped off the fans and stuff, and it's because Charlotte was, I guess, upset because they were all chanting Becky Lynch, right? The fans started to kind of feel themselves out again, right? They're starting to mess with things again. When a Bill Goldberg comes out, like, I understand the attraction from like the guy at the bar turning, like, I'm looking at baseball and then I'm like, oh, Goldberg, right? That guy I get. But the hardcore fans that are paying tickets, I don't know what kind of reaction Goldberg gets when he comes back to confront Bobby Lashley.
I think it's going to be mixed. I mean, obviously there's going to be the people going, oh, cool to see, but nah, do we really want to see him right now? Especially, like you said, this current fan base right now, they want to see moving forward, and I think too many of them may see this as a step too far back. It's different with John Cena, because John Cena for WWE was at a different level. Right. It's if a Stone Cold comes back and does a beer bash and a couple of stunners here and there, people will be loving that. The Rock, coming back again, another rumor thing. But Goldberg wasn't a homegrown WWE talent, so I think the fans might view it a little differently, if that makes sense.
We talked about Big E. Let's talk a little bit about the women. I was surprised that Nikki Ash took this Money in the Bank to start the show last night. What did you think of Nikki Ash's win there?
I thought, before I get to the win, I thought the women all worked their butts off, had a heck of a match, good way to start the pay-per-view. Again, like you, I'm very surprised that Nikki was the winner. Especially both Money in the Bank matches, a babyface won, because usually the Money in the Bank briefcase is set up, as a perfect tool for a heel to cash in, in despicable fashion, so to speak. So to have two babyfaces win, mind you, with the Big E situation, I see it works. With Nikki, not so much, only because in that finish too, all the women are up on the ladder and they're fighting and they're brawling, and she just crawls up everybody and takes it. So she looks smart and everybody else looks kind of dumb at the same time. I didn't like the way it ended.
Yeah, because I had some people on Twitter telling me they like, I'm like, that felt flat to me.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of just, because I felt like there was like it was like building to something. I thought like one side's going to fall off. And then when it didn't happen and she just took it, felt way flat to me, especially compared to the Big E win that we saw later on.
Yeah, when you like you said, with the Big E win, him climbing up the ladder, you just heard the crowd building and building and building, and then when he finally took that briefcase down, they erupted. With Nikki, it was almost like there's 6 women up there, and not one of them noticed that she was trying to unhook the briefcase while she was climbing over their backs.
They all saw it. Like, that's the thing that killed me too. Nobody. Yeah, like, it was pretty wild to me.
No, I didn't like the finish to that one at all. And again, hats off to the ladies for putting on a heck of a match, but it's the last thing you remember in the match that counts. And that was the last thing I remembered, and it turned me off a little bit.
And the thing about Nikki Ash, and look, she's trying something right now. I don't think she's a character that like needs a Money in the Bank, right? Because she's just kind of more of an action figure that you can kind of do white meat baby face stuff with kids for all day long.
Mm-hmm.
We saw them try this with Otis last year, where it's like a funny kind of bigger character, and they kind of gave up on it. I mean, call me maybe pessimistic or coy, but like I don't really know that. I don't know what the long game looks like for Nikki Ash with this briefcase.
No, I don't either. And again, like I said before, the Money in the Bank briefcase is perfectly set up for a heel to come in and cheat and sneak a victory in a title situation, or, you know, get their butt handed to them when they try to, whatever the case may be. With a babyface, if the babyface doesn't call their shot, like I said earlier, with a Big E saying, this is the date, this is the day, I'm coming after you, be prepared because I'm going to kick your butt and take your title, whatever. You know, with Nikki, I don't see that happening. I think, again, it looks more like a comedy situation.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to turn into like a 24/7 kind of thing.
Yeah. And it bums me out too, because like the Raw women's division really needs something. I thought they were going to put over I thought, you know, Liv or Naomi would have been baby faces. I don't really know who Alexa Bliss has had it. I don't really know who the top heel for that division is. Obviously Charlotte with the title now.
Right.
It's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, like, let's put it this way. Honestly, thinking back on it, it might have looked better in the hands of Carmella of all people, believe it or not.
Yeah, go back to the beginning. She was the first woman to hold the briefcase, right?
Yep.
So, I don't know. All right, two things real quick about SmackDown I want to ask you about. First of all, Vince McMahon, rare appearance. We saw Vince in the wild. How did you feel about Vince kicking off SmackDown and the little bit he did asking the fans where they'd been?
That is just Vince. That's Vince being, believe it or not, that's not Vince being Mr. McMahon. That's Vince being Vince. I'm just happy he didn't tear his quads going out there. That's all. Sorry. I didn't mean to go out there. But anyways, I can't help forget that because, you know, I was there in the ring when it happened in way back in 2005. So that's something that's ingrained in my brain. It's amazing. And really quickly, if I can, what people don't realize about that day when he tore his quads, he made it to the back without help. He refused to let anybody help him walk to the back. So here's a guy who got back to the backstage with 2 torn quads, went straight to his limo, and see you later, bye. We got taken to the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, he wouldn't let. Yeah.
You were one of the refs that was there, that was like, because he was sitting on the side of the ring, right? And then you were scolding him, asking him what's going on, boss.
Well, the trainers everybody came out to make sure he was okay. Leave me alone. And it was like, well, I keep bugging Chad Patton to this day because when Vince dove under the bottom rope and went to stand up and he started going down, I was a little bit further away. Chad was the closest one to him and he took a step back. And I was bugging him. You let the boss fall. What's wrong with you, man? You should, you know. He says, "Are you kidding? If I'd have caught Vince, and he probably would have got more heat."
Probably. That's smart, right?
Yes.
Man, that's crazy. And you saw the exercise video. You talk about his quads, man. He was doing some deep dips there.
Vince is a workaholic. I mean, I know Chris Jericho tells a story about him flying back from overseas with Vince on the plane. And Kevin Dunn, and they land at 5 a.m. And, you know, him and Vince have been drinking all night on the plane. And Vince goes, "What are you doing, pal?" And Chris goes, "I'm going to bed." He says, "Oh, I'm going to the gym." Oh, my goodness. Vince is insane.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know, whatever. Well, talking about somebody with intensity, I had to get your thoughts on Davey Boy Smith Jr. returning to WWE. It was in a dark match. He confirmed on social media, but it looks like he's back. What do you think about Harry being back in the mix at WWE?
It's going to be interesting. Again, he's a talented guy. It's just, I think his only issue was his mic work, you know, because you need that. It's okay to be very talented in the ring and have the ability and be able to perform, but at the same time, you have to have that character development as well, where people can get invested in behind you. And he was lacking that a little bit. And maybe this time away from WWE helped him develop some kind of. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here. I'm on a wait and see attitude. I like Harry. He's a good dude. Yeah. Very talented in the ring, can really go for a big guy too. Yeah. You know, he's in that wheelhouse that they like about big athletic guys. I just want to see where they go character wise. I hope they don't go too off the rails with it. I want to see a little more of Harry being Harry.
Hey, Harry is an insane individual. Harry will kill you. He's Wookiee style, baby. He'll rip an arm or a leg off and he'll beat you with it just for fun. I mean that in all earnestness.
Yeah, he's a true bulldog. He's got that DNA.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I want to thank you so much for taking some more time to talk to me about the wacky, colorful world of professional wrestling. Is there anything you want to plug, promote, put over here before we wrap it up today?
Yeah, really quickly. Hey, thanks for having me on, first of all. And then all of a sudden, you can always catch me on my social media at Jimmy Korderas on Twitter, at Real Jimmy Korderas Instagram, where I try to interact as politely as possible. I do my ref and rants on a daily basis. And like I always say, you can get your ref and rant t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com as well. And you can catch me on places like here. Not regularly, but, you'll find me here quite often. So, and I enjoy it, and I appreciate you having me on, Nick. It really means a lot.